good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like precious ointment upon the head that ran down the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down the skirts of his garment, as the dew of Hermon, as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the I Am commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. Psalms chapter 133. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits, who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you on this platform and those shared platforms, you're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay, and we thank God for you, and you. And we also, with a hand clap of praise, we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that are thereafter and here and there's about, and those of you that have just subscribed. Yes, just subscribe. We thank God for you also. And we also thank the Most High for those of you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, all praises to Him who inhabits all things. Yes. Yes, we're in the book of Judges. Very interesting book. Judges. Very interesting book. Yes, and one thing I want to go back over the statement I made that chickens are scavengers. Now, if you go to study.com will look up "Are chickens scavengers?" In fact, this study.com says that answer and explanation. Chicken are scavengers. This is because chickens are willing to eat the remains of an animal that are already dead when they encounter it. Scavengers play an important role in ensuring that the nutrients in a dead organism body are cycled with an ecosystem. Okay, that's a tongue twister for me right now until I get it right. But anyway, yes, chickens are scavengers. This is just studying some people take chickens and they look at them and it depends on what you feed them, but you put them near a dead carcass, they're going to eat it. Many times chickens are kept in cages. Their eating habits are controlled. Does that make them clean? They still are. You can take an alligator and feed him whatever you feed him, and he's still gonna, come out of that cage, he still is a scavenger. He eats anything, dead or alive. And the same thing with hyenas, the same thing with, should I say, vultures and all other birds of prey. Some birds of prey only eat certain animals, but a bird of prey this is only to those who would seek the Most High, even the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The rest of you know we don't care. It doesn't matter. I mean, you go your own way. You've already been swayed by some evil, demonic being, and therefore you can go. They've already been dispatched for you. But the fact is that those of you who follow the Most High, and another thing we're going to say, we adjure you to continue to study His laws. The laws of the Most High, the laws, commandments, statutes, even the judgments. I know we have all these books that are written. We will have books written about Isis. We got books written about this, and we got books written about that. They're good to know for historical accounts. And also, just as that we, a common sense thing would say, that we know what they did were evil, and that we should not desire, or should I say lust after these things, according to what happened to them. We shouldn't lust after the things that we know are detrimental to our relationship and also our eternity with God, even our health and welfare with the Most High. And when you know good, you do good, if you want to. Now we know that it's not specifically about chicken, it's about all scavengers. Those who walk upon land, those who are fowls, and those who are among the fishes. God make it plain among the fishes. You're not going to eat scales and fins. Scales and fins. God asked you not to eat. And you said with your ancestors, and even those of you that would follow after the ways of the Most High, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he says don't eat these things. Now the laws of the Most High are not grievous. He allows you to drink, but not get drunk, or not be a drunkard, or chronic drunkard. Yeah, you're going to get a little buzz or whatever. Yeah, he says you can do these things. And the fact is that some go to the point where even the Satan says, can a man, in the book of Job, his hair is raised upon his back, and he said, can a man be more righteous than God? In other words, some of you just come up with all kind of things that you think are holy and unholy. God clearly defines and he explicitly points out what is holy and unholy in the word, in his laws. Now that which is an abomination, that which is unclean is that which is unclean. What is unclean? He clearly defines what is unclean. When he says you don't eat unclean birds. What are unclean birds? Unclean animals. Scavengers. He said, and then when you come in contact with one of them and you bury it or whatever you do, you go and wash, and you will be unclean until the evening. So we got to call a buck and really try to understand God. This is why David prayed so hard. Teach me thy laws. Teach me. In order that I might be pleasing unto you, O God. Teach me. It's not about the book of Enoch, Jasher, Jubilee, Genesis, but it's about those laws. This is what the enemy wants to keep you from. This is what he wants to keep you even in the anger or the distaste of God. He wants to keep you there. But with these little other things, this idolatry. That's the first commandment, idolatry. Thou shalt have no other God before me. We should know that anything that presents itself as God or at the right hand of God, God needed no counselor. He don't need no counselor. He don't need nobody saying beside him or telling him what to do. No. But all wise, all powerful, even to the point where he even uses things to get us to do what we're supposed to do. And we still count it by those things that work the other end to say, well, why did he do that? God knows that. And then get bitter against God when you know there's no way you can defeat God. That is foolish. Foolish thinking. You can't see him. He ain't gonna occupy. God is not gonna occupy himself with uncleanness. Even one of the prophets says, I am among the people of unclean people with unclean lips. In other words, we cuss. We do these inordinate sex acts. We do all this other stuff. Oral to genital and all these other things. We just are filthy before the Most High. And we do these things eating unclean birds and animals. Yes. God don't go along with that stuff. Now let's continue now. We're in the book of Judges. The book of Judges. And we're in chapter 3 as you prepare. Judges. Now we already know in the book, 2nd chapter, that the angel came and rebuked Israel by relaying a message from the Most High. This is what denotes him as an angel. Messenger. When you say angel, you always think messenger, because this is angel is probably of another language. Could be Latin, could be anything. That's beyond my comprehension right now. But angel, I know that it means messenger. Now in chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the I Am left to prove Israel, or the children of Jacob. By them, even as many as Israel has not known all wars of Canaan, as had not known all the wars of Canaan. In other words, this is the land of Shem that Canaan took. And it became a habitation of idolatrous practices. And idolatrous practices also stem into lewdness, sexual sexual immorality, even adultery, fornication, bestiality, effeminacy, and all these other things, such as the men of Sodom and Gomorrah. These were Canaanites. Only that generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them war, and at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. In other words, to teach the children of Israel that might know, that the generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. They didn't know nothing about war. It was a time of peace. It had to be quite a long time in the land of Canaan at this point. There was peace during the time of the elders, and before that, the time of Oshé, and then Moses. God have put peace on all their borders. Now, here it comes. The Satans of war have given right. They've done this, and this is what God has done. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, 5 owners of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites and the Sidonians and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal-Hermon. Mount Hermon, so they named it Baal-Hermon, unto the entering of Hamath. And they were there to prove Israel by them. Now God allowed these to be to prove Israel. He allowed you to get to that certain woman that you should have rejected to prove you, man. You married her. You liked her. Don't trust me. I've been there. You didn't marry a woman that is after the same mindset and looks after the laws and careful to obey the laws of the Most High, although far and few in between to find. You didn't settle for that. But now here they go. Satan deals with the children of Israel, the children of, should I say, of Ham and Japheth, and even those that are after their likings, to shape their hind parts and put on the makeup and enhance all their womanly features and put on their clothes so that these features excite us. And we go by sight, yes we do, and they look good. They are enticing. They are very enticing. Look at a certain demeanor, a certain femininity about the woman that attracts us. Yes, man, don't you do that. Oh, it looks so good. Yes, beauty is good. God gives you that in your heart to admire the beauty of a woman. That's good. Even all of them have looked upon the beauty of a woman and admired her beauty. But these things ought to be countered with. The Most High says, thou shalt not commit adultery. And everything that falls under adultery, although you struggle in your flesh, you struggle in your mind not to do these things. I wouldn't say this if I did not know these things. Now, and they proved Israel by them in verse 4, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the I Am, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. By the hand of Moses. In other words, it was handed from the Most High to an angel to Moses. Okay? And some things were directly to Moses. And they took their daughters. Now, he says now in verse 5, let me backtrack a little bit. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and they gave their daughters to their sons and served their gods. Compromising. This is where all your wives' fables and all these things about, oh, God don't mind. He know you desire it. He just going to look the other way. He going to wink on your sin. God never winked on your sin. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the I Am and forgot the I Am their God. How do you forget him? Not that you forget his name. You forget what he commanded you and what your ancestors have agreed to. That is the covenant. And served Balaam in groves. Therefore, the anger of the I Am was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of Cushan-Hathraim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Cushan Rishathaim 8 years. This is a long time. He sold him. How did he sold them? They sold really themselves through the sin and reneging on the thing that their ancestors have told God they would do. All that the Lord God, even the I Am, said that we will do, they said in Exodus chapter 20 and 19. And when the children of Israel cried unto the I Am raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. Yes, there's some seed about Caleb, Caleb's father there. Now the fact is that you in your land, where you deal with so many things, you pray for political change. Sometimes you have to pray that God remove that leader or those group of leaders that are causing the havoc in the land. You have to pray, God, remove these people. They are enemies to those who are humble and meek and that are law-abiding in the land. They oppress you every day, not only in law enforcement, but judicially. Even those of being in the governancy and also the mayors and all these other things that allow evil to come your way when you're trying to do that which is right and be law-abiding. You have to pray for removal. And to remove you, either removal of them or remove us, one of the two. Oh God, show us how to do this. Show us how, do it some kind of way, stir up somebody. So God stirred up somebody. What was his name at this time? They prayed, Othniel, the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the I Am, and strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the I Am. Here they went back, same as the Satan said in the book of Jasher. That's not a fake book. It's not a fake book. It might have some things in it that are not right. I've spotted some things in many of books that are not right, that have been infiltrated, because you have heathen translating these Bibles, these books. And they're going to do it to their own benefit. But what you do is glean and know the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. These things you do. And glean from these books what you can. Even the New Testament, you can glean from those books, because everything in the New Testament is in the Old anyway. They done found it in every book that's mentioned. And he gathered them unto the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees. So the children of Israel served Eglon, king of Moab, 18 years. Now we're talking about 8 years, not 18 years. Never learning. They did it again. Idols. I mean, just being delivered. This is probably a few hundred years here. Just being delivered from Egypt. God having hope and that these people would teach their children. They did not teach their children. This is one thing. And those who were taught, just because everybody else doing it, we're going to do it. This is what's happening. Even those of you, when I said chicken, some of you got pretty upset about it. You raised chicken, you've been eating chicken all your life. Oh boy, you put a bombshell on me. I didn't put a bombshell on you. The Word of God did. Abomination, detestable, unclean. You have to look at these words. See, I had to learn this thing too. I've just learned this. And I just said, I put it away, period. This is something that is irrefutable. I can't refute that. No. I did not see these things. I mean, even coming into contact with a woman on a menstrual cycle can make you unclean before the Most High. But some of these things we do not know. So we take a shower in the evening that we might be unclean until the evening. You go to McDonald's, she done touched your food, she done shook your hand, she done touched the money. And then you talk about some of you in your own home. These are what you would call minor things, but these things God look at as you having a heart toward the Most High. And even the woman that she somehow tried to keep herself from you during that time, a vulnerable time. Now, it says, then the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the I'm in verse 12. And the Im strengthened Eglon, king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Im. Now, this is what brought the colonizer to the Americas. This is what brought the colonizers to Africa. This is what brought them to Australia. Because what? Those who know better didn't do better. And you wonder, although these people are destined, that have done these things, they were destined for dishonor and whatever destruction God has for them. He brought them anyway, that he might prove you. He's proving you now. Look at you. Many of you taking on the ways of the heathen. I did too. I'm not going to just dissociate myself that I haven't been there too. But there's a way you got to turn. There's a way you got to turn and turn unto the Most High. Yes. But when the children of Israel cried unto the IM raised up to deliver Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, a man left-handed. By him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. But Ehud made him a dagger. See, God did this in a way that this man was, he was over thousands. But God don't need thousands to defeat them. Made him a dagger that had 2 edges of a cubit's length. I mean, it was about as long as my arm. And he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh. His right thigh, even on the side or the inside, he did something there. So it had to be from, depending on how tall he was. As long as the blade was down. If he had it inside his thigh. And Ehud made him a dagger which had 2 edges, a cubit in length, and he girded under his right thigh. And he brought the present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. And Eglon was a very fat man. Yeah, you can remember, you see some of your leaders, some of them wear all kind of Gucci and all this other stuff and taking your money and treating you like dogs because they want to please their massa. They figure there's no hope. These are hopeless. They don't even want to give their life for their own people. That's not a leader. Not at all. He's just a steward of someone else. Evil. But he himself turned again unto the quarries that whereby Gilgal had and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king, who said, keep silence. And all that stood by him went out from him. And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from God unto thee. And he rose out of his seat. He stood up with his fat self, yeah. Eating all that greasy chicken. And should I say that duck? Yes, duck is a scavenger too. If you eat duck, duck is also a scavenger. Huh? Oh no, duck is a scavenger. Wow! Yes, look it up. And the haft also went in after the blade, and the flat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out. In other words, this man had so much fat. He had dirt in there, what appeared to look like dirt. And Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. I got that fat joker. And he was gone out of his servants. He was gone out, in verse 24. And the servants came when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked. And they said, surely he covereth his feet in his summer chamber. And they tarried till they were ashamed. And behold, he opened not the doors of the parlor. Therefore they took a key and opened them. Oh, they had a key back then? You got to remember, they learned a lot of things before, should I say industrialization, before the introduction of Caucasians or whatever. The black man knew a lot. There were cities already built. Don't dodge the hijack. You need to learn. Go to Curie Mayo. Learn about the people that have invented the New Testament. Dodge the hijack. Now, And Ehud escaped while they tarried and passed beyond the quarries and escaped unto Sirath, like Mount Seir, near Mount Seir, somewhere like that. And it came to pass when he was come that he blew a trumpet in the mountain of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the mount, and he before them. He just blew it. Ooh, yeah. And he said unto them, follow after me, for the I have delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hands. And they went down after him and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew Moab at the time about 10,000 men, all lusty, and all men of valor. And they came and escaped not a man. In other words, God gave it to them. They cried and asked God deliverance. This is what you do, Kenya. This is what you do, Nigeria. This is what you do, South Africa. This is what you do, Namibia. This is what you do, South America. This is what you do, United States. This is what you do, Canada. You cry unto God. Remove them, get them out the way. And you'll find out. God will put righteous people in law enforcement. He'll put righteous people in your judicial and all these other positions of your societies. Don't matter whether they're black or white or whatever nationality they are, as long as they do what is right, what is lawfully right. Yes, before you. Some might not see it as lawfully right, but the thing is that when you can show the law, you violated the law. Period. You have constitutions. You have, just laws. And some people take it upon themselves because of their positions to violate you. Misquoting laws and looking and then lying to you about certain laws. Then they think you hate them because you don't like the way they're doing things. No, it's not that nobody don't hate. It's just you're being unrighteous. You're being unjust. Whether you're in law enforcement, judicial, or mayoral, gubernatorial, or whatever. You're being unjust. So Moab subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. Woo! That's a blessing. You can go a whole lifetime with rest, peace. And after him was Shemaga, the son of Anath, and he slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad. And he has also delivered Israel. So now we see that Israel went back and forth, back and forth. And God was being so forgiving. His hand was stretched out still. And they turned back to him, but they turned back to the idols. They turned back to him and turned back to the idols. The same is today. Many of you all cry to God and God deliver you. He do things for you, but you contributed when it happens. Oh, I did this. Oh, he did this. Or she gave me this money. Didn't God touch that heart? God had mercy upon you in your idolatrous ways. But God touched the heart of a man, a woman, a child to deliver you individually in your different situations. But you failed to remember his laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances, and went about your own way just as the Satan that told the truth in the book of Jasher. Or should I say Jubilees, with Abram. He told them they're going to go back. They're going to do what they're going to do. Period. And with that, if we lean not to our own understanding, if we don't follow the crowd, not even thinking about what they're doing, but do that which is pleasing unto the Most High, we will have peace.
Walk with me.